These were the top 10 most disappointing products I tried all year long. Today's video is officially kicking off end of year video season, and that season brings with it a lot of favorites videos because I really enjoy looking back on the year and kind of taking stock of everything I've tried, everything that's launched, and sharing with you my absolute favorites in all beauty categories from the entire year. So because we have a handful of videos coming up here where I will be raving about the things that I really love and of course recommending them to you guys, I thought it would be a nice change of pace to actually start off with the things that I really didn't like at all. So without further ado, here are the top 10 products that I really was hoping to love that let me down bad. Disappointing product number 1 is technically 2 different products, but I'm going to group them together because they were definitely marketed to us in that way when they launched this year. And those 2 products are the Dyson pre and post styling creams. Well, I think one is technically a serum, but you get the gist. This launch was actually pretty major because it was Dyson's first play in the actual hair product space. Traditionally, they've really just been known for hair appliances. Of course, the Airwrap, they have the Corral, which is their straightener, a blow dryer. So they had been selling heat styling tools for a while, but nothing like this. It was a product that you would actually apply to your hair. And what I find to be most interesting about these products is that the focus of them is definitely on style hold and longevity, and that I feel is the most common complaint with the Dyson Airwrap and really any wet to dry styler like that. A lot of people who use these kinds of tools really struggle to get the styles to last. And the way that these products are supposed to help with style hold is with this trademarked Dyson technology called the Triodeck technology. And this technology is actually formulated with their self-proclaimed hero ingredient called chitosan, which is derived from oyster mushrooms. So they say while conventional styling products create brittle glue-like hold between fibers, okay, you don't have to shade all stylers like that, not all of them. Dyson Triodeck technology uses chitosan to create flexible bonds that hold and condition hair strand by strand. For the pre-styling cream, they have 4 different options depending on your hair type and the level of conditioning that you need, which I actually like as an approach to selling products like this, like having something that is modified a little bit depending on what you're looking for and what your hair type is, versus just having one single product that's claimed to work the exact same for everybody. So they have light conditioning and rich conditioning, and then they have a straight to wavy option for both rich and light and a curly to coily option for both rich and light. I don't have a need for really heavy conditioning products post wash. I feel like everything I do in my wash routine is already super nourishing and conditioning, so I didn't want this to weigh down my hair, so I went with a light conditioning option for straight to wavy hair. In addition to that, they also have a post style serum, which is only available in one format, so they don't have different options for different hair types here, and this is also supposed to help with hold and definition. Both the pre and post stylers claim to offer flexible all-day hold that also protects your hair from high humidity and reduces frizz. And I got none of that. The first time I tested out this duo was on a day that was very, very humid. I thought that it would be an interesting test given that that is a claim that they have listed on both product pages. And oh my gosh, not only did my hair not even really hold within the first few hours, but once I went on a walk outside in that really hot, humid weather, my hair looked awful. So that was a little disappointing, but I was like, okay, I can cut them some slack. It was a really humid day. Let's test these again, just like indoors when I'm not going outside on a super hot, humid walk. We will wait for the weather to tame out and then I'll try again. And I also made sure to use even more product the second time around because that was something I was seeing in my comments, like, oh, you have to use a lot, like way more than Dyson recommends. So I went in with a lot more and still nothing. Whatever this oyster mushroom technology is, it just unfortunately does not seem to work for my hair type. And I was so bummed about this for several reasons. The first being that both of these bottles cost $60, so I spent $120 on this set for literally nothing. And I also just had really high hopes for the performance of these products given the level of quality that Dyson normally delivers us in the form of heat styling tools. So a very disappointing experience all around with this launch. I personally wouldn't recommend it, but of course, if you had a different experience, feel free to let us know in the comments. I always welcome that. I think it's really fun to see how products work differently for different people. For this launch, it was a no from me. The second most disappointing launch was the K18 Conditioner. I was actually feeling disappointed by this product before I even tried it out, simply because of the way that K18 chose to market it. There are a couple different spots on the product page for this conditioner where they specifically say that this is formulated without film-forming silicones or waxes juices that can build up over time and weigh hair down. You guys know where I stand with all of that. I'm not even going to dive into all of that again. It's just really frustrating to see a brand that originally I felt seemed to be really rooted in actual science go this fear-mongering route in the name of selling a $36 conditioner. But of course, I still wanted to test it out and give it a fair review despite that marketing, because there are a lot of brands that market their products in ways that I don't love, but then I end up really enjoying the product. So I was like, we'll go into this open-minded. And honestly, I think the best word that I can think of to describe my experience with this conditioner is just underwhelming. Like every step of the way, from the way it felt to how it applied to the results that I got. Like it wasn't bad, it just wasn't amazing. And for a brand like K18, I expect amazing, especially when the conditioner is $36, or I at least expect to be like, wow, this is really good. And I definitely didn't feel that way. Every single one of my favorite drugstore conditioners gives me significantly better results than the K18 conditioner, and they're all under $10. And you guys know me, if something is expensive but gives me amazing results, I will still buy it. I'm not anti-high end, I'm just anti something like this that's like expensive for no reason. How are my lips doing? Disappointing product number 3. Okay. Is a $76 sunscreen that only has SPF 36. It's the Alastin Skincare Hydra Tint Pro Mineral Broad Spectrum Sunscreen, again with SPF 36. $76. I had been hearing about this tinted sunscreen for years. Anytime I talked about a tinted sunscreen on YouTube, I saw comments saying, oh my God, you have to try Alastin. It's so amazing. But every time I looked it up, I would see that it was $76 and I'd be like, no. On principle, no. However, I finally caved and decided to try it this summer because I did a giant tinted sunscreen showdown that I will list in my description box below if you haven't seen yet. I tested like over 35 tinted sunscreens because I'm insane. And I knew that I would see tons of comments saying, oh my God, you forgot the best one. You didn't try Alastin if I didn't include it in that video. So I was like, fine. And upon initial application, I was like, okay, like this might be one of those products that, yes, is crazy expensive, but like I can understand a little bit because it feels really nice, it's looking really pretty, but that changed very quickly. While this had a really nice undertone at first, it started to oxidize and turn orange pretty quickly, which right there, like that in and of itself is reason enough for me to not want to buy a sunscreen, let alone an $80 one. But it got worse. This settled into lines that I did not even know I had on my face. Like, oh my gosh, it really emphasized lines. It settled. It started to go patchy in certain areas. I also felt like the finish was really inconsistent, where like in some spots it was super radiant and almost kind of reflective, and others it wasn't. I don't know exactly what caused all of that, but something about the way that this sunscreen settles on my skin is just a nightmare. Like it's one of those products that I think actually makes my skin look bad. So I would have been disappointed by the results that I got with that either way, but I think especially because I had heard such good things for so long and it was so expensive, that one was just like, ugh, knife in the chest. Disappointing product number 4 is something that I saw going viral on TikTok, I swear to God, like every single day for at least 2 years. It's the WavyTalk thermal brush, which is a heated round brush that does not blow air out. So it's not one of those stylers like the round brush on the Dyson Airwrap where you're drying your hair and then hot styling it into that like curled blowout look. Am I making any sense right now? Hopefully you guys know what I'm talking about. There's no like wind or air coming out of this tool. It's just heat, but it's supposed to create that same sort of bouncy blowout look. So I tested this out after a rough blow dry. I think I styled the next day. For the most part, my hair dries and like falls pretty flat and straight, but I'll have like some wavy parts. I went over those kind of like waved parts of my hair several times with this, and it just never fully like straightened them out and made them sleek, which was something that I felt like I was seeing a lot on TikTok. So I was like, what the heck? Why is this not working for me? But aside from that, when I used this on the rest of my hair, like the lengths and ends, and did the whole twisty thing like you're supposed to do to get that blowout effect, gosh, I would get like a cute little flippy curled in end that was gone like 30 seconds later. It took me so long to get through my entire head of hair, and then by the time I was done, it looked like I didn't even style my hair. I was like, are you kidding? I applied all that heat for nothing, and on top of that, because it is a brush and you're pulling on your hair, it of course is going to pull some hair out. So I'm like, all of that heat and breakage for what? for this. Thankfully, this one didn't break the bank, so that definitely made it sting a little less. I think I spent like $45 on it, so not the end of the world, but obviously it's still really disappointing to have something not seem to work at all when it was going viral for so long, like seemingly giving people amazing results. Not me, I guess.
Not me.
Not this head of hair. Disappointing product number 5 was the e.l.f. Soft Glam Foundation. Based on all of the hype that this foundation was getting, and also based on, again, like similar to Dyson, the quality that we normally get from these new e.l.f. launches, I thought this was gonna be unreal. It's supposed to be a medium buildable coverage foundation with a satin finish, which sounds right up my alley. The first issue I had with this foundation is the shade range, and not the number of shades because they have a lot of different shades, which is great, but the undertones of the shades were so intense, like so yellow or so peach or so orange, that I was never able to find a good color match for my self-tan skin or my not self-tan skin. Aside from that, when it came to the actual foundation, I would say number 1, I just didn't love the way that it felt. It's definitely a little bit thicker and creamier, and all of my favorite complexion products right now are very thin and liquidy and kind of runny, so that was just something I didn't love. And number 2, I would say overall, I just feel like this didn't do anything to enhance the look of my skin. Again, when I think about my favorite complexion products right now, they all have that special quality that like makes my skin pop, you know? This just didn't do that for me. There was nothing about this that I loved on my skin. I actually liked it a lot better at the end of the day because at first I felt like it looked a little too makeup-y. I don't know. This one just wasn't for me, which was a big bummer because I thought this was gonna be like my new foundation because of how much I've been loving e.l.f.'s launches over the past couple of years, but that wasn't the case. Disappointing product number 6 was actually an entire line of products that launched from Redken this year. It is their acidic color gloss set, including a shampoo, conditioner, hair gloss, and leave-in spray. This was one of those launches that when I saw, I was like, because if you know me, you know that I am a huge fan of the original acidic bonding. Okay, back up. That noise, that in my head was like supposed to be a record scratching. Okay. Ew. Say hi to me. You say hi to everybody. Wanna? Oh, hi, cute girl. Mama's almost done, okay? Oh. Yes, I know. You want to sit with me for a second? As most of you guys know, I am a huge fan of the original Redken acidic line. That was the cutest thing I've ever heard. If you'll excuse me, I'm gonna cry. Just kidding. You're so precious to mommy. You don't even know. As most of you know, I am a huge fan of the original Redken acidic line. It's their acidic bonding line, which helps with damaged hair. I love so many of the products in that lineup. So I thought that this was gonna be the same kind of thing, but just with like enhanced shine. So same kind of benefits, same everything, but just giving you the glossiest hair ever. I actually really liked the shampoo and conditioner. It's not like there was anything wrong with either of them. It's just that they didn't make my hair shinier than normal, so that was obviously disappointing given that that is the whole point of this line. And the glossing treatment is interesting because it's actually a hydrogen peroxide treatment, which is the only like gloss that I've seen launched over the past couple of years that has taken that approach. I feel like everything else has just been focused on shine enhancing ingredients that are good for your hair, not hydrogen peroxide. So if this ended up being something that worked really well for my hair, I would have been hesitant to use it frequently because of the fact that it's hydrogen peroxide based, and I obviously don't want to be using something that's going to damage my hair frequently. But it didn't work well for my hair. It also didn't make my hair any shinier than usual, and I actually felt like my hair was a little bit frizzier than it normally is, where like the ends of my hair just looking extra poofy. And for the leave-in spray, I would just say it fell flat. Like there was nothing about it that I was obsessed with. Again, I didn't notice my hair looking shinier than normal when I used that over my other leave-in conditioning sprays. So all in all, I think that this one was mostly disappointing for me because I just didn't get the benefit that you're supposed to get with it. Especially because Redken has some incredible products that I've seen such good results with. So again, it was one of those where I had really high hopes and then like it hurt my feelings even more when it didn't work because of that. White, you do not need a hair wash. Your hair is so shiny. We use the Way Full Baby shampoo on you. It makes you so silky. Disappointing product number 7 is another line of products, and it's an expansion of an original What? I'm making no sense. So Tower 28 originally had a lip treatment called the LipSoftie, which was just clear and untinted, but they came out with tinted versions of that this year, so expansion in the LipSoftie line. They came out with 4 shades that are supposed to offer the hydration of a lip mask and a sweet sheer tint for instant comfort and smooth, softy lips, served up in 6 tasty flavors. They call this a cushiony treatment balm. They say that. But let me tell you, there was nothing cushiony about this treatment whatsoever. All of the tinted shades were so thin, so grainy. They didn't feel moisturizing. The shine was pretty underwhelming, and the pigment was also patchy. So basically everything about this launch felt like a huge fail for me. It wasn't just like, oh, you know, they don't feel the best, but at least they look really good. Like, across the board, this was just a big flop. And on top of that, the Tower 28 LipSoftie formula, like even the original untinted version, which by the way feels way better than the tinted versions, that one is cushiony. It feels really nice and soft. I love the way it feels, but there's something in it that I'm allergic to because pretty much immediately my lips start to really tingle and burn and it gets dry and tight, which also happened to me with the tinted versions as well, which just made the whole experience even more offensive. Fail! Disappointing product number 8 is something that I discovered during my testing phase for my Glowy Primer Showdown. I posted that, I think, in the spring. I tested out a lot of the really viral, popular glowy skin filter / primers. So think Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Filter, e.l.f. Halo Glow, and the Kosas Glow IV Vitamin Infused Skin Enhancer. This was kind of similar to my experience with the Tower 28 LipSofties, where like everything about it was not good. The texture of this was not very pleasant to work with. It wasn't very lightweight, but despite having kind of a thicker, creamier texture, it didn't really feel moisturizing. And I found it pretty difficult to spread and apply evenly on my skin. Like it just wanted to grab onto everything. It didn't have great slip. I really hated the way that it smelled. It had that plant oil smell that I really can't stand in beauty products, and it was pretty strong. And if all of that wasn't enough, this made my skin look awful. There's nothing glowy about this. Like, I know it's called a glowy skin enhancer, but it's not glowy, it's just straight up metallic. It literally looked like I put liquid highlighter all over my face when I put this on, and they do say that you're supposed to use it by itself. So to be fair, I was like, well, maybe if I mix it with moisturizer, then that will help the problem, but even still, it was just like a slightly less intense version of what I had just experienced with the all over highlight look, which I don't love. I don't know about you, but I don't like how that looks. Similar to Alastin, this is just one of those products that straight up makes my skin look bad. Like my pores are enhanced, nothing looks nice about my skin when I have this on. So that was another big, huge fail. Disappointing product number 9 is the Shiseido Fino Premium Touch Hair Mask. This was another product that went super viral on TikTok, and the results that I was seeing with this hair mask were insane. I was seeing the glossiest, shiniest hair allegedly from this mask that I had seen in my entire life. So obviously I bought it. And right off the bat, I was very thrown off by the texture. It has just a different texture than I'm used to for a hair mask. It was like a jelly. I didn't hate it. I feel like if I continued to use that, I may end up appreciating it. It was very different for me, a unique experience for sure, but it just didn't give me great results. It really did not condition my hair well. I had little knots in my hair, which will happen when something is just not the best conditioner for my hair type, and my hair also felt dry, and it also didn't make my hair any shinier than normal. I actually think that I get better shine with my regular products that are not necessarily glossing or shine enhancing products. Like just my standard go-to routine gives me much shinier hair than this mask did, especially compared to what I was seeing on TikTok. Like I did not have results that were anything close to that whatsoever. And last, but certainly not least, disappointing product number 10 is Blake Brown Beauty. I'm just gonna put the whole brand together here because I didn't love anything I tried. So this is a launch that obviously ended up having an insane amount of drama surrounding it, but that aside, like just initially, before any of that drama really started to pick up, I felt like this really made waves. I was getting tagged in it so many times, seeing so many requests to review. Like people were really interested in this launch at first. And based on the way that this was marketed and introduced to us, I thought that there was going to be something really special and unique about this brand. Even down to the packaging, I was really impressed when I saw all of the product imagery at first. Like, everything just looked beautiful and luxe. Fast forward to getting the products in the mail, I was like, what is this? I feel like the packaging looks very glossy in all of their photos, and it certainly does not look that way in person. It's just very flat, very not what you're seeing in the pictures. It's it's like that classic, like, this is what I bought online and this is what I actually got. So I was able to get my hands on the Fundamental Strengthening Shampoo, the Fundamental Nourishing Shampoo, the Rich Reset Pre-Shampoo Mask, and the Dry Shampoo. Everything else was sold out, both in stores and online, so I was planning to just wait for everything to come back in stock and do a part 2 review until everything flopped with part 1. The Fundamental Strengthening Shampoo worked a lot better for me than the Nourishing option. With the Nourishing one, my hair got greasy really quickly after using it, so might work for you if you have a drier scalp, but just was a pass for me. The Strengthening Shampoo gave me a good cleanse, but I hated the smell of it. It just was like really mature and very intense and just not what I was hoping based on how everything was described. And while this shampoo does say that it's a strengthening shampoo, it claims to do so through the use of plant proteins. Plant proteins are definitely not known for being exceptional strengthening ingredients, so I really doubt the ability of any of these products to provide much benefit in that sense. Not that they don't have any benefit at all, but when it comes to actually strengthening damaged hair, I personally wouldn't put a lot of trust in these products to do that. The dry shampoo definitely did work for me in terms of oil absorption, but I also really did not like the smell of it, and I found it to be pretty stiff and dry in my hair. So not one that I would consider to be residue-free or weightless or even lightweight, which is what I would say about my all-time favorite dry shampoos. And because the brand is silicone-free, I was not expecting to love the pre-shampoo mask, but still wanted to give it a fair review, and no surprise, I didn't love it. I actually liked it better than I thought that I would. It was not nearly as good as my favorite conditioners, didn't come close to that, so nothing that I wanted to keep in my collection. I did share some more of my thoughts on this line and kind of their approach to marketing and product selection in a recent video that I posted, so I will list that below in case you haven't seen it yet and would like to hear more, like my thoughts on their stance that nobody in Hollywood uses conditioner. Well, so all in all, for the initial excitement surrounding this launch and the way that they presented themselves as a brand and presented all of their products, I just was like, eh. There was nothing about any of these products that felt special or unique or innovative to me, and nothing that I loved about any of them to make me want to keep them in my collection. Those were the top 10 products and launches that disappointed me the most this year. I actually have a lot more where that came from, unsurprisingly. So if you'd like me to do another video just like this, but not just for end of year, like just in general, products that were fails for me, I was disappointed by, that I wouldn't recommend, let me know. I'm always down. If you enjoyed this video, you know the drill. Please don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, click on that notification bell, and send my channel to a friend. Thank you for your support in doing all of those things, and thank you for watching my videos. I love the freaking heck out of you guys. Make sure to stay tuned for my next one because that will be up in a few days, but until then, I hope you have a great few days.